Hi friends, Quill here. Welcome back to the channel and our little series where we go through and make hashtag Dexit predictions. If you're enjoying the series just as much as I am, make sure to hit that like button down below and click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future videos. We're actually winding down on this series as we're closing in on the end of the National Pokedex. Of course, in this series, we are going to go through each of the regions and try to guess which ones will and won't be in the games. If you see on your screen right now, you see the guesses that I've already made. If you look on your screen right now, you'll see the guesses that we've made so far. Blue Pokemon are confirmed to be in the game. Red Pokemon are Pokemon that I think will be left out. And green Pokemon are Pokemon that I think will be included in the new generation's Pokedex. Now, if you watched the last episode, which if you hadn't, you should, I did mention that Pokemon that have been confirmed since the video that I covered them on, I'm going to leave them as is for now, and then go back and change Pokemon that have been confirmed for the game later, in 2 weeks actually, once we finish this whole series. Before anyone asks, I'm dressed up today because I had to do a presentation for my research that I told you guys a little bit about in my Pokemon Fire Red Omega Nuzlocke challenge if you watched that series, and I didn't feel like changing out of it, you know? I'm already dressed up, might as well stay that way for the video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm really glad that Kalos is a small region because I'm tired. Alrighty, as usual, we're going to go ahead and start with the starters, and I believe that all of the starters are going to be in this game. Again, I've mentioned it in the past. I think that the starters provide a very interesting opportunity for max raid battles. We know that Charizard's included in the new Pokedex. If they don't include more starter Pokemon than just Charizard, there will be lots of pushback. So I think it's likely that we'll see all of the starters, maybe not quite at the beginning, but through updates and that sort of thing, through max raid battles. As with a lot of Pokemon, I think that Fletchinder and its line just fit within the region of Galar, and I think that it's very likely that we'll see them. Similarly to Spidna, I think that Game Freak is going to be cutting out a lot of Pokemon that have unnecessary replications of Pokemon, because one of the biggest defenses for Dexit is that they're trying to cut down on the amount of data that they need to import into new games. So I think that cutting out Vivian, unfortunately, would be a good move in that direction. Obviously, Vivian has a lot of extra skins that they will have to program into the game, and so cutting it out leaves room for more Pokemon. For those of you who don't know, the national animal of England is the lion, so I think there's a really good chance that we're going to see the Litleo and Pyroar line. I think that there is also a pretty solid case to be made that maybe they'll get Galar variants. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I know that I'm including a lot of Kalos Pokemon, but in my defense, real life England and real life France, off of which those two regions are based, are very close in proximity. And as such, I think that the Flabébé line has a good chance to be in the new games, obviously. Flowers are pretty well everywhere, and I think that they just fit the feel of the Galar region. That continues to Skidoo and Go-Goat. Obviously, the UK having a lot of rural places supports the idea that perhaps we will see Go-Goat and Skidoo. Skidoo? Skidda? You know what I mean. When it comes to Furfrou, again, we have a Pokemon that has a bunch of different forms, a bunch of different coats, I guess, and cutting it out leaves more room for other Pokemon. Also, I think that Furfrou is very specific to the Kalos region. It very much screams Kalos to me, and I don't think that we're going to find it too many other places. When it comes to Spritzee and Aromatisse, I really would not have expected them to make it in the new games, except Swirlix and Slurpuff. Swirlix and Slurpuff have made it into the new games, so I think it's very unlikely that they'll be left out. I think that Binacle and Barbaracle are a little bit underwhelming. Not a lot of people like them. They're not particularly good in battle. I think we won't see them in the new games. When it comes to Skrelp and Duragalgi, I think that they're very good Pokemon. I think a lot of people like to use them. They're interesting. They have a unique typing. I think it's a good chance we'll see them. In the case of Clauncher and Clawitzer, I just have a feeling that we'll see them. I'm not quite sure why. I think they just fit within the region. Now, if you've watched past episodes, you know that we don't include fossil Pokemon. I don't think that they're going to bring any of those old fossil Pokemon back. I think that they will once again be extinct, at least for now. I think they're going to introduce new fossil Pokemon in these new games and kind of leave the old ones behind, at least for the time being. Dedenne is kind of a unique case. It's obviously the Pikachu clone of the region, which in a way kind of makes me think maybe it won't be in the game, but Dedenne has a unique typing. A lot of people like it. I loved it in the anime at least, and I think that in general it's relatively popular. It is very, very similar to Morpeko, and maybe that is a reason that we wouldn't see it, but just because of its typing and its influence in the anime, I think that there's a good chance we'll see Dedenne. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know why Carbink exists. Other than to be a sort of unrefined version of Diancie, I don't necessarily understand why Game Freak created this Pokemon, and I at least wouldn't miss it if it were not in the new game. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark it out for now. Klefki. I feel like everyone loves Klefki, and I just honestly feel like it fits in the Galar region. I think that they will put it in, if not for its popularity, then the fact that it just kind of fits. Now, I love Trevenant. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I really do like Trevenant. I think it's a cool Pokemon, and I think it would be a shame if it didn't make it into the new games. I think that's incredibly unlikely because we see that Gourgeist is included, so I think it's likely that we'll see Phantump and Trevenant in the new games. Next up are the box legendaries, and if we're being totally honest, it is almost impossible for these Pokemon to be in the new games. The only Pokemon that might be in is Zygarde, because in Pokemon Sun and Moon we saw that despite being very far from the Kalos region where it was first discovered, Zygarde was found in the Alola region, so perhaps it could be found in the Galar region as well. I don't think it's very likely, but we'll just have to see. Kalos is kind of unique in that it has 3 mythical-ish Pokemon, being Diancie, Hoopa, and Volcanion, but there is no standout Victini or Mew or Celebi or that sort of thing. I personally, and again this is just my opinion, I think it's unlikely that we will see these mythical Pokemon in the new games. And that just about does it for the Kalos region, my friends. So as you can see, I think that most of the Kalos region will be available. There isn't much of the Kalos region to be included. Obviously, it is the smallest generation, but given the fact that it is such a small Pokedex and the fact that Kalos and Galar are probably going to be geographically close, I think that there's a really good case that we'll see a lot of Kalos Pokemon in the Galar region. As always, let me know down in the comments your thoughts, which Pokemon you think I got right, which ones you think I got wrong, and also tell me which Pokemon from the Kalos region you'd really like to see in the new games. But other than that, my friends, make sure you hit that like button down below, and as always, see you next time.